Stand aside, guardian. I seek passage beyond this temple. Calm yourself, brave knight. You may pass. If you can answer my riddle. What's it feel like when a human has Shreks with a sphinx? Oh. So, just a hunch. But, is painful the answer? When I'm in a clamming to be the strongest warriors in Africa, but begging for help in almost every war competition, and my opponent is the spy you sent to keep an eye on German radicals is now the leader of the German radicals. The what? Point of view. The religious debate just started, and you see the rabbi answering the retired knight that the Virgin Mary wasn't actually a virgin. Knight. Rabbi. Bark. Point of view. Your loan payment is late. Medieval and Renaissance banks. Modern banks. Mem the Conqueror holding the head of Vlad the Decapitated. The fire-breathing dragons are gone, and mother has finally let you out of the basement. Is it one of your friend's toys on the ground? You should return it to him. North Korea after banning Chinese words. Me think. Why waste time say a lot word when few word do trick? You're chosen to go to the moon as a last minute replacement. You realize you forgot to pay your taxes first. Carthage after destroying the Roman navy, but they find another one looking for them after about 2 minutes. Please say psych. A second cheese wheel was found in the White House. Man, situation in Balkans is tense. How tense? Odysseus babe, it's 4 PM time for your daily goddess Shreks. Yes, honey. When can I go home? It's been 7 years. Council of Florence, European Christians welcoming the Ethiopian delegates of Prester John. The Ethiopians wondering who the hell is Prester John. He will never be an Aryan. On the 24th of August 1939, during the meeting of the Molotov-Ribbentrop Pact, Hitler asked his personal photographer Heinrich Hoffmann to photograph Georgian-born Soviet leader Stalin globes to determine whether or not he was an Aryan or a Jew. Hitler concluded that he was an Aryan. Himmler regarded Stalin as being descended from lost Nordic Germanic Aryan blood. Bush. Duel Saddam Hussein. Invade Iraq. Autobus bragging about conquering a city that they outnumbered 10 to 1. Serve 3 tours in Vietnam. Keep a captured diary. Join the FBI. Become a whistleblower. Get forced out of FBI. Have spare time. Get diary translated. Diary becomes a smash hit in Vietnam. Become a folk hero in Vietnam. France dissolving the Holy Roman Empire. France coming to the realization they created Germany. I won the Battle of Kadesh. Be honest. There are accounts of the victory carved into temples. Who carved them? Okay, it might have been a stalemate. Thank you. Republic of both nations. Republic of both nations. Republic of both nations. Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth. Herodotus. Sigmund Freud. Being considered pioneers in their field despite getting so much wrong. I put you in charge of my army, and you switched sides. And you made stew of my son, and tricked me into eating it, so. Sub-Saharan Africans are an intrinsically inferior race, since they are incapable of creating anything technologically advanced, let alone their plow/wheel or their own written script. Ethiopia. Modern Romabu. No, the Roman Empire cannot be judged by our modern standards. It was not frowned upon in its time. Tacitus. These plunderers of the world, the Romans, after exhausting the land by their devastations, are rifling the ocean, stimulated by avarice, if their enemy be rich, by ambition, if poor, unsatiated by the east, and by the west, the only people who behold wealth and indulgence with equal avidity. To ravage, to slaughter, to usurp under false titles, they call empire, and where they make a desert, they call it peace. Steve Jobs parking his untagged car across 2 handicapped spots. That'll do. Could you not ask me to annex you? For 5 minutes? The Art of War is an advanced text. The Art of War is an basic text. The West, with its own kind of theoretical equipment, which is of a formalizing and technical nature, has proved itself to be singularly inept at thinking about the conduct of warfare, taking account only of secondary matters, preparations and material data, and failing to consider the phenomenon itself. Although Clausewitz himself identified it as something that lives and reacts. In contrast, the intelligence developed by Chinese thought is manifestly, eminently strategic. King's armors, beautiful smithwork, engraved battle scenes, every inch of body and face covered in metal, colorful tabards, kings in movies. North Korean artillery position, USS Wisconsin. Becomes president, beats Mexico in a war, gains multiple new states, leaves office, dies. No, the US does not have colonies, it's not an empire. The annexation of Hawaii, 1898, is but one of many examples of US imperialism. Germany in Polish history books. Russia in Polish history books. Sweden in Polish history books. Pretty much all of Poland's neighbors in Polish history books. Soldiers on the 11th of November 1918 looking at their watches, just 3 more minutes before they can leave those goddamn trenches. A powerful queen exists. Ancient and medieval historians spreading rumors about her promiscuity. I redirected all your calls, so you lose business. Oh yeah, I just made your entire industry obsolete. British Motho's face from 1066 to 1789, when he is born too late to go to war with the Kingdom of France, too early to go to war with the Kingdom of France, but just in time to go to war against the Kingdom of France. Kennedy gets shot and the US might think it's you. Panic. The shooter was an American, and not one of your own agents. Calm. The shooter was a Marxist, and had lived in the USSR. Panic. Chiang Kai-shek when his generals win multiple battles. Yeah, I'm going to need you go on house arrest this Saturday. Jimmy Carter. Presidential pardon. Convicted child rapist. Falls off his horse. Don't write that down in the record. Korean historian. King Taejong fell from his horse. He then asked not to be recorded in the record. Hi, I study history. Wow. I'm a history buff too. Bernard Borsickett's friends, after finding out that his girlfriend, who was the mother of his child, was in fact a male Chinese spy. Did you impregnate a man? Learn of the prophecy that your city will only fall if you stay alive. Walk into enemy camp dressed as a common peasant. Provoke your enemies into killing you. Die. Your enemies run away in fear of imminent defeat. Point of view. You are Fidel Castro on April 15, 1980. One of the great tragedies of history is that Martin van Nieuwenhove had a face born to wear an oversized Metallica t-shirt that smelled of weed, but was forced to live in the 15th century. The popes in 9th to 10th century. The popes now. Sigmund Freud when a time traveler shows him how he's viewed in the 21st century. Your femboy brother takes the Roman throne. You are still revered as the greatest medieval Roman historian. When the royal guards with goofy hats and a Scottish accent that you laughed at on your London holiday in 1981 start charging your position with bayonets. Being remembered as one of the greatest generals of World War I and as president of Germany. Being remembered as a balloon. The Soviet economy spends 21% of GNP on the military in 1985. Why is our economy a dumpster fire? He's probably thinking about girls. Why Asian civilizations didn't conquer Australia before the Europeans did. Union soldier in 1861. I'm kind of bored being a farmer, so I think I'll go enlist. Might as well since it won't last past Christmas. Union soldier in 1864. No peace with the drivers of our fellow humans until the last drop of blood. So my daughter tells me you're into history? Yes, I play Hearts of Iron 4. You have exactly 10 seconds to get the duck out of my house. Sardinians after eating cheese with literal live worms inside. Delicious. Finally, some good ducking food. You don't have to like the history, but you have to accept it happened. People nowadays. Would it be funny if I turn one of the poorest nation in Africa and in the world into the country with highest GDP per capita in Africa using the power of capitalism and British democracy system? Unless. How the Romans saw the Celts. How the Celts saw themselves. Barges into cabinet meeting. We have a secret weapon that can destroy the Middle East. Refuses to elaborate. Leaves. To this day nobody knows what the duck he was talking about. B. Wolfgang von Kempelen. Wanna impress the Empress of Austria. Build a chess automaton player. Actually put a man inside to play instead. Defeat Benjamin Franklin and Napoleon Bonaparte. Your machine gets exhibited by multiple people for many years. Nobody finds out for 84 years. Saudi Arabia becoming a wheat exporter. Massive subsides. Depleted water resources. All exploitations shutting down. Satan. If you feel you have lost faith in humanity, just remember how these guys celebrated Christmas in the First World War. King Kamehameha the Great. The two guys who nearly killed him with a fish paddle. Kamehameha the Great. 7 feet tall. His children. His son Kamehameha II less than 6 feet. His daughter Kamamlu over 6 feet. American schools don't teach about us imperialism, Vietnam, and war crimes. Just admit you didn't listen in history class. Australians don't know how to pronounce Kosciuszko. Paul Strzelecki. MP who thought Illinois' capital was Chicago. I got me one of them Williams boys. General Bradley. I've got me one of them idiots who give marshals a bad name. Actually, beauty and a healthy image are a social construct. Haven't you seen how historically, a country's king would have a prized and overweight wife? Checkmate. Compelling. However, what did the king's younger mistresses look like? Dismissal of Bismarck. If you keep behaving like this, then 20 years after my death, everything will fall apart. Heh, okay. Chancellor, you've been dismissed. Literally 20 years after Otto von Bismarck died, 1918. Italian Navy. Italian Air Force. Italian Army. I'm so sorry for what my country did. Which war crimes? But Mussolini wasn't that bad before joining the alliance with Hitler. 1905. Einstein. Discovered photons. Invented special relativity. Invented nuclear physics. Tesla. Lost funding to his dream project. Had major depressive episode. Caught cholera. Billy. What have you done? I'm a POW. Treat me nicely. Also disregard countless POWs and civilians we butchered here. Don't aim for the head. It will be over too quickly. Joins your threesome, impregnates you. Refuses to elaborate further. Leaves the country. The Allies after World War II, in a Cold War, to become the dominant power in the world, took their islands back from Argentina despite losing the empire. Lobbed her. The target is Berlin. Arthur. This is the 7th night in a row you've bombed Berlin. Britain and France almost siding with the Confederacy. The Union. Russia of all places. The Chernobyl disaster. The Soviet Union's attempts to keep it secret from the West. Forsmark power plant. Richard Gatling attempting to reduce casualties in war. Minigun bitch. Polish peasants in the late 18th, early 19th century. Today I will cut some wheat Tomorrow some Moskals. Duels in fiction. Hark. Thou darest question mine honor? Have at thee then. I shall test your supposed skills by the blade merrily. Why indeed I do. Though now that I'm fighting thee, I must say that thou appear to be just as skilled as I, and therefore I hold thee with utmost respect as a fellow noble my good sir. Why, thank thee sir. Duels in real history. Iron Herman fell prostrate to the ground, and Guy of Steenvoort threw himself on top of him, punching the knight's mouth and eyes with his iron gauntlets. Having raised his hand very smoothly to the lower edges of the mailcoat, where Guy was unprotected, and grabbed him by the testicles, he collected his strength for a single effort and threw him from him, breaking open all the lower parts of his body by this grabbing throw, so that the prostrate and now impotent Guy grew weak and cried out that he was defeated and was going to die. Virginia. West Virginia needs to give land back. Federal government. Virginia. Aren't we forgetting one teensy weensy but ever so crucial little tiny detail? I own you. Boudica in fiction. First and best queen of Britain. Roman colonizers go home. Strongest warrior ever. She was so brave. Yas queen slay. Timeless feminine icon. Fighting patriarchy. First century feminist. Boudica in reality killed herself instead of dying like a warrior. Murdered thousands of women and kids. Genocidal barbarian. Probably worst military general ever. Married to a Dumbus king. Had a 300,000 soldier army. Lost against 6,000 Roman soldiers. Every time my history teacher is trying to do just his job. I like Sabaton. I know more than you. Laughs in doner kebab. How the duck did Egyptians carved without power tools? It's impossible. Must be ancient aliens given them technology. Ugh, rock break rock. United States. Japan at Pearl Harbor. You bro, I got an idea. Treaty of Tordesillas, 1494. The world splitted between Spain and Portugal. The Pope said so. The Pope said so. Modern historians. Well, we can't actually prove that the king was present at the battle. Sources differ as to. Ancient historians. My cousin who knows a guy that grew up near there attests that the army was led by the king himself. Anyhow, here are the words of his pre-battle speech verbatim. Apparently a Turkish man invented the steam engine 200 years before the Industrial Revolution, but he only made it to Spindana. Frederick III waiting for his dad to die so he can be Kaiser. Modern archaeology. Look at this shit. Now we know how peasants 5,000 years ago lived. Biblical archaeology. This is where King David used to stand. The Aztec high priest stopping cannonball flying right towards him after sacrificing 20 people to Tolchtklshiapskli. I hate titans. Turns into titan. I hate gals. Turns into gal. I hate vampires. Turns into vampire. I hate imperialists. Turns into imperialist. Breastplate armor of Ferdinand I, Holy Roman Emperor, 1549. Again, blood wasn't the only thing dripping on the battlefields. Soviet World War II movies during Stalinism. Can I kiss you, comrade Stalin? Soviet World War II movies after Stalin dead. Weebs. No samurai would beat knights, since they occasionally had guns. Knights. Are you not ashamed to wear this uniform? Heather and your American uniform kind stink, haha. Lek reaction. Knowing Russian. Saying the name of the president. Saying Stalin. Axis scientists in 1943. Allied scientists in 1943. Swiss scientists in 1943. When you do such a good job playing Stalin that he bans you from playing any other character and forces you to play him in 13 more movies, Mikhail Jalovany suffering from success. Average revolution versus normal Chinese revolt. Casualties. 10 million. 1 to 3 million. 7,200,000 AD, 40,222,000 AD, 36,755,000 AD, 30 to 70 million 1850, 20 million 1862, 30 million 1958. Ruling with her husband as co-empress. Taking the throne after the death of her husband. Leading an invasion against her husband, forcing him to abdicate and becoming regent. Leading a coup d'etat against her husband, killing him and crowning herself empress. No way servant maidens and court ladies actually wear cloth showing half of their boob. The contestants at the competition to occupy Moscow. Allies' doctrine for German orphans. Hey kid, don't worry, we will find you an orphanage for you. The Red Cross will help you find parents. The French doctrine for German orphans. You'll be French. Belgium 1914 to 1918. You have everything here. Stop giving me precious intelligence to the Entente. Belgium 1940 to 1944. You have the rest here. Stop. Virgin soldier vs Chad Roman legionnaire. He has a post-traumatic stress disorder. High-tech equipment that breaks down. Doesn't know how to fight with a sword. Performs several functions. Sailor, soldier, worker. Wear a pretty outfit. Fights against Gauls. Think of the Roman Empire. Robert E. Lee in popular memory. Sweet little grandpa who made some small mistakes. An honorable gentleman really. Robert E. Lee, when he gets his hands on the young black girl who dared run away from the plantation. Incompetent political leader. Incompetent military leader. Lost every war he fought in. Got his country into World War I for no reason. Froze his own army to death. Blamed it on ethnic minorities and perpetrated the mass killings of millions. Sentenced to death by his own country. Died leading a group of bandits in Central Asia. Turkish national hero. I'm officially neutral, but selling a bunch of iron to the Nazis. Or you're so sweet. I'm officially neutral, but selling a bunch of tungsten to the Nazis. Hello human resources. Conquest of Tenochtitlan. How you think it was? How it really was. Natives are lies. Aztecs. Spaniards. Darius III. Alexander the Great. Man, I wish I was more like that guy. But he probably wishes he was more like somebody else too. Holy shit, I'm glad I'm me. I'm especially glad I'm not that guy. I'm off to fight the Huns. Not dressed like that, you aren't, young lady. Better? Yes, bitch, slay. Verkers 1944. Soldier. What is that? Tube. I don't know. The Americans call it a bashishka. Something like that. Okay, then read the handbook they gave us and see how this thing works. But sir, don't tell me you can't read. No, but everything is written in English. We are doomed. King Arthur in silly movies. Main enemies. Evil witch. His sister. Shiny full plate armor. Historically inaccurate. Often depicted as cute young boy. Hide the truth tainted by incest and adultery with a bright, childish story. Only thing he achieved by himself is pull the sword in the stone. King Arthur in real British legends. Battle-hardened Romano-British warlord. Goss with helmet with shiny jewels. Deep dark scale armor. Historically accurate. Good at killing Saxons. But Saxons love him as a hero even in these days. Didn't involved in incest or adultery before the French nerds made their own fanfics about him. King Arthur in Japan. A crazy girl who claims herself as a king of Britons. It will be an honor for me to battle alongside the French once more. General Leclerc. I always stand by my belief that the French combat ants are the finest. Thank you, mon general. I think I will adore those lovely free French. I'm eager to talk to them. Hala senor. La mood para Francois Hitler. So, how did you find? I swear to God I will put all of you son of bitches on the worst part of my front. I'm scared. I don't want to be here, I want to be with mama and papa in Russia, not in France. Hey pal, what's up? Wanna join us? We are fighting the Nazis. You said fighting the Nazis. Happy now, like, dap. Carlos I of Portugal reading a message from his old allies, the Brits, on January 11, 1890. Azil Dalka. Nothing is free in this world. Me, how much does fresh air cost? Listen here, you little shit.